Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This video is a little bit different compared to the previous videos that I've uploaded because of the topic, or rather the content of this video. I wanted to talk about my life and everything I've been through, everything that I've seen, all the people I have met, and just I want to describe to you as best as I can the journey that I've been on, the ups and downs, the moments I'm grateful, and the moments that I fall to my knees and cry. What I'm talking about in this video is my idea of a movie based on my life. A film that shows and reminds people that even though you have a mental illness, that doesn't mean, just because you have a mental illness, it doesn't mean that you can't have a great life. That just because you have a mental illness, it doesn't mean you can't dream, that you can't dream big. And those dreams, I want to remind people that they can come true. Whether you have bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, I want to show you guys that, I want to show you by using my life as an example that even if mentally you struggle, you can still accomplish the dreams that you have. And so, like I said, it'd be really cool to make my life into a movie. And the title of it, I kind of was thinking about it. I was thinking something like Beauty from the Ashes, an autobiography. That would be the title. And it would really be showing my life, my childhood, all the way up till now. And I'm gonna break down what I think would be really powerful in the movie and the actors and actresses that I think would fit the roles perfectly. So starting out, when it comes to me and who I think could play me in the movie, I think of an actress who's in The House of Dragons. She plays one of the main characters, and her name is Emma D'Arcy, or Emma Darcy. She's someone who, I think she's a wonderful actress who has amazing range, and her emotions and feelings, she's so good at showing them without even speaking. And it'd be really cool to see her be me in a movie, in a film. And like I said, it would start with probably me, just my voice in the beginning, and the introduction would be me. It would be the introduction would be me introducing myself and letting people know what this movie is about, and that I hope and I pray that it encourages people to dream big. And so it'd be really cool to see Emma play me in a movie. And so what I imagine is this movie would start with a voice introduction and then my childhood. I say start my childhood because I had a crazy upbringing. I had a crazy childhood to where my biological mom was schizophrenic. I have several memories of her struggling and hearing voices, and I have memories of her telling me everything's gonna be all right, just be safe, wait in this closet, I'll come get you when it's safe out. I'll come get you when it's safe. I have a memory of her making me, giving me Oreos with a glass of milk at night, and she lifted me up, put me on the counter, and we had cookies and milk. Despite her being schizophrenic, I have loving memories of her. I really do. But, you know, with everything, there's the good and the bad. And so the film would start out by showing a childhood of, it wasn't normal. Not only was my mom schizophrenic, but my dad was an alcoholic, a drug addict. He physically abused us, and he was a violent person. And after my biological mom passed away, when I was about 5-6 years old, my biological father started to sexually assault me. And so he molested me for years. And my childhood growing up was just trauma after trauma after trauma. And it got a little better, but it's only because my biological father passed away when I was about 10, 11 years old. And for the longest time, I've said I was happy he passed away, that it made me glad because I didn't have to suffer anymore. But truthfully, I miss my biological parents because I feel like I would be a totally different person if they were still alive. But my biological father passed away when I was about 10, 11 years old, and I went into foster care. And I spent about a year and a half in foster care, and it wasn't a good experience. I mean, foster care, you have a lot of messed up kids who have been through trauma after trauma, and they're with people who, a lot of these people in foster care, they're just there for the check, the money, and they don't really care about the child. And then you have some families who are the opposite, who really want to adopt a child, who want to raise a family, and so they adopt a child who deserves a family, to grow up and be loved. And so the beginning of this film would really show my life, my childhood, from a couple years old to 17. When I was in high school was probably one of the defining moments in my life, because in high school I started hearing voices and seeing things, and it got to the point to where I crashed my adopted dad's car 3 times, and they thought I was on something. They thought I was on drugs, but really I was just hallucinating. I was in the psych ward several times in high school, where I spent weeks away from school. And it's just, high school, my junior and senior year, my schizophrenia manifested itself, and I just didn't know what the hell was happening. I had no idea. And so high school, junior, senior year is probably where the hallucinations would show up in the movie. And I have a couple people that I think would fill some roles in a nice way. My hallucination legion, who I describe as someone who is very slender, pale skin. Sometimes he has black hair. Sometimes he has blonde hair. It just depends how he's feeling, I guess. And then he has red or black eyes usually. Again, it kind of changes depending on his mood and how stressed I am. And he likes to wear a nice suit. He likes to look good. And so Legion, I thought, would be played by a wonderful actor named Matt Smith, who is also in the House of Dragons. He plays the Rogue Prince in the House of Dragons. He was also in Morbius. He was also in Doctor Who. But Matt Smith would play Legion, and I thought that would be amazing because he's got the talent. He's got the skills. He's got the skills that he can be intimidating, but at the same time be a little bit mysterious. Like you don't know what his intentions are. So I think Matt Smith could play Legion so well. And then we have Skylar, who is more of a emo goth alternative, emo goth alternative. God, I don't want to use the word bitch or cunt, but Skylar is definitely a dark figure. She enjoys wearing all black. She enjoys that Victorian era theme, and I feel like the actress Mia Goth could play her so well. She's definitely got the look and the facial expressions, so I feel like she could play Skylar super well. And then there's Cheyenne, Cheyenne is more of a southern country cowgirl per se, or I envision her like working in Montana on a ranch, and the actress Kelly Reilly could play her. Kelly Reilly was in Yellowstone and also is in the show Dutton Ranch. She would be great. And then the final hallucination, Alexander, who is just explosive. You never know what's gonna happen, and he's just a ticking time bomb. I feel like Shia LaBeouf could play Alexander so well. But those are the hallucinations. And like I said, Emma D'Arcy would play me. And then the film would transition from childhood to college, from me being in my 20s and 30s, more or less. But, me being in college, university, and struggling with alcohol and drugs and substance abuse and sleeping around with men and women and just really sleeping with whoever would buy me drugs and alcohol. I didn't care as long as I was high or I was drunk and I could just feel like I can escape. And so this film, Beauty from the Ashes, and it would show my college time to where I was just going through the motions. And somehow I was passing classes. Somehow I was getting good grades despite not being mentally present. And I feel like Emma could show that to where she's gifted, she's talented, she's smart, she's intelligent. And even though she's not putting in even 50% of the effort or energy, she's able to get by because she's brilliant. Because she's intelligent. But in college was when my hallucinations got really bad to where they became more violent and aggressive. So Legion, Skylar, Cheyenne, they started yelling and screaming and insulting me. They started physically touching me. They started to do more violent things in front of me. And so there was blood and gore and it was like I was in a hospital surgery room and the doctors don't use anesthesia and they were just performing surgery on people. And you hear screaming and you see blood, shooting all over the place. But college is definitely when this film would show I'm cracking, I'm breaking, that my schizophrenia brought me down to my knees to where I nearly gave up. And so there would be at least 1 or 2 suicide attempts in this movie, especially in college, to where I didn't know what the hell was wrong. I couldn't understand what was happening to me. And I decided to run away from my problems. So I, studied in South Africa for a year. I worked in Yemen for a year. I traveled all over the world for a couple of years, which is why my university and my college degree took so long. But the movie would show that too, of that even if you are mentally unwell, even if you're sick, you should chase your dreams. And that's what I did. I traveled the world, South and East Africa, the Middle East. I visited places that a lot of people don't go to. And so it'd be fun to show that in this movie, that that I went to places where I stuck out, where people could tell he's not from here. Whether that was in the ghetto in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, in a busy city like in Sana'a, Yemen, and so it's just, or Ethiopia even. It'd be nice to show that in a movie of me, surrounded by a different culture, different people, and having to learn how to fit in, how to be one of them, despite being sick. And then this film would go from me being in college to me in my 30s, which is now. And again, I feel like Emma would do so well because she could show just the tension. Emma could show the internal battle that I'm in all the time, with the voices and the hallucinations, the visual hallucinations, and it'd be fun to see her interact, with Legion or Skylar or Cheyenne. Especially in my 30s, when I started going to the hospital frequently. I was suicidal. I really couldn't take care of myself. And I eventually got baptized, became a born-again Christian, and I moved into a group home for disabled adults. But like I said, it'd be so fun to turn my life into a movie, because I think it would be exciting, with traveling all over the world, with the crazy, scary things I've seen. Like when I was in Thailand and I walked home at night and it was just pitch black. I was walking by temples and I would hear the strangest noises and sounds and voices, and I would be hallucinating, different things, different people, while I walked by these beautiful Buddhist temples at night. And you're like, hey, you're just trying to figure out, why are they talking to me? Like, who are these people? Or when I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and it was just the food and the noise and the culture and the busyness and, the nightclub scene, and just trying to live my life and enjoy life while simultaneously suffering in my head. Teaching English in Yemen for a year in the Middle East. Being in a Muslim country while trying to figure out who I am. That would be an amazing thing to show in a movie. But like I said, I could see my life being made into a movie, to where it just shows the evolution. It shows the steps I took. The movie would show the steps that I took, that I had to take in order to become the man I am today, to become the person I am today, who's confident, who's sure of himself, who has no regrets, no shame. I'm someone who believes in what I believe in, and I know it's right, and nobody can tell me otherwise. It'd be really cool to see Emma play me and just, transition from being mentally unwell, psychotic, schizophrenic, to being in college and blacking out, and just her body and mind taking control and going through college, and literally looking back and being like, I don't remember what I did or who I was with or who I slept with or, what happened, because my mind was saving me from that trauma. But this is just a thought, guys. I have been really thinking about my life and the fact it'd be really cool to make it into a movie. And the people that I could see in it, like I said, Emma Darcy, who's in House of Dragons. She would play me. And then Matt Smith, who is also in House of Dragons, would play Legion. Mia Goth, a wonderful actress, could be Skylar. She would fit that goth, alternative, punk rock kind of look, or even a Victorian look. And then Kelly Reilly playing Cheyenne as this tough rancher who loves horses and plaid and jeans and flannel. And then finally Shia LaBeouf playing Alexander, who is just an explosive personality, dynamite. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So this is my dream, guys. My dream is that I can make my life into a movie, and these are the people that I want in it. So I'm going to tag them, and maybe they'll see it. Or if you can tag them and repost and comment, and maybe you can help me get their attention. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful afternoon, and God bless. Peace.